Я хотел задать вопрос Исламу. Считаешь ли ты Армана самым серьезным соперником для Ильи? И не кажется ли тебе, что Топурия избегает его?
Ну, что избегает, не секрет. Я уже видел там баталии в интернете, где он говорит, я лучше завершу карьеру, чем буду с ним драться. И я думаю на данный момент, что Арман набрал хорошие обороты, и это самый серьезный экзамен для чемпиона.
Fans were fired up, and not because of a wild knockout. The moment that set everything off was a referee's call. One wave of the hand, one early stoppage. And just like that, the MMA community went off. People said the fight was stolen. Fighters jumped in with their takes. The timeline filled with clips and slow-motion replays. And as that storm raged, Islam Makhachev added a whole new spark. He said Ilia Topuria was ducking him. In this sport, those are fighting words. So in one weekend, we got both kinds of chaos inside the cage and outside of it. The kind that keeps fans glued to their screens, replaying the same 10 seconds and arguing over what should have happened next. The stoppage everyone is talking about went down in the bout between Axel Sola and Rhys McKee. Through the early exchanges, McKee was still very much in the fight. He was getting touched up, sure, but he was active. He kept his guard high, moved his feet, and searched for counters. He didn't look lost. Then Sola dug an uppercut into the body. It was sharp and mean, the kind of shot that closes your lungs for a second. McKee dropped to a knee. He wasn't out. He wasn't flat. He reached for control, tried to cover, and began to turn. In that split second, the proper question was simple. Is he done, or is he still defending himself? That was when Herb Dean stepped in. He didn't give it another beat. He didn't wait to see if McKee could tie up a leg, reach a hip, or post a stand. He waved it off. Fight over. The arena reacted right away. Some people jumped to their feet because they thought the body shot was nasty. Others threw up their hands at the timing. Online, it was even louder. Clips of the finish popped up from every angle. Fans slowed it down frame by frame. They pointed out how McKee's left hand was shielding his head while his right hand was on Sola's wrist.
The boy Puffy called me though. Puffy called me back in the day. He called me, he was like, I just want you to know I ain't have nothing to do with your brother's,
They circled his hips turning, his knees pulling under him, the tiny details that say, I'm still here. That's what the debate was about: intelligent defense. You don't have to be winning every second to be allowed to fight on. You just have to show that you're aware and trying to protect yourself. In this case, many felt McKee was doing exactly that. A lot of fighters agreed. Some were careful, asking, was that early? Others didn't hold back at all. They said it was awful. They said Herb jumped the gun. They said it was another example of him being inconsistent. And once the inconsistent label shows up, it never really leaves. It sticks to every call after that. Refereeing MMA is a hard job. Everyone knows it. The cage is loud. The angles change fast. The damage can pile up without much warning. But the job is also very clear. Keep fighters safe and let them fight when they can. It's a tight line to walk. Take too long, and people say you put a fighter's health at risk. Move too soon, and people say you robbed a fighter of a fair chance. What made this moment sting was the feeling that the story wasn't finished. McKee had a window to recover, and the window was closed for him. You can live with a fair loss. You can't live with not getting the chance to try. Herb Dean used to be the name that made fans relax. Herb's got this. He had that reputation because he was calm and read the action well. Lately, that trust has faded. Not everywhere, not with everyone, but more than before. When people say he's either late by a lot or early by a little, that is them saying they don't know what they'll get. This stoppage fed that feeling. It added one more clip to a folder that critics pull out whenever his name comes up. That's how a reputation shifts clip by clip, moment by moment, until the tone of the talk changes. Now, while that argument was blowing up, Islam Makhachev dropped a different kind of bomb. He said Ilia Topuria is ducking him. In this sport, ducking isn't just a word, it's a brand on your name.
Listen, when you put so much effort in the game and you have a guy in front who you don't know that maybe he could pull out from the fight, that's not something good for us. It's not on my back. Bro, I don't care. They're gonna give him a fight before the title shot because there is no way. I'm the world champion. I'm never gonna give him a chance to fight for the title. I will be like, listen, if that's the case, take my belt.
It says you'll fight, but only when it suits you. It says you want the benefits of being at the top without taking the real risks that come with it. Islam doesn't play the cartoon villain. He rarely goes for cheap talk. So when he says it, fans lean in. They ask, what does he know? What's going on behind the scenes? Islam has a style that makes fighters look lost. His wrestling is heavy, his pressure is steady and smart. He doesn't rush. He breaks people down. He beats them to the next spot. He chips away, then he surges. He is the kind of champion that asks a hard question of those who face him. Can you swim in deep water for 25 minutes with a man who won't give you space to breathe? A lot of very good fighters can't. That is why his call-out carried weight. If Islam tells the world that someone isn't signing the line, fans take it seriously. What made it even louder was Topuria's response or lack of one. He didn't come out with a hot message saying, "Name the place." He didn't turn it into a back and forth. He chose silence or a vague line here and there. Silence can mean strategy. Sometimes the best move is to ignore the noise and focus on your own path. But silence also leaves room for other people's stories to grow. The longer you wait, the more fans start to fill the gaps. They start to ask, is he picking a different fight? Is he waiting for a better payday? Does he want a striker he can style on? Does he think Islam is a bad matchup? This isn't a brand new script in MMA. We've seen these accusations before. Stars have waited for perfect timing. Champions have chased big names over tough names. Fighters have chosen matchups that make sense for their style or their bank account. Nobody wants to admit it out loud, because this sport still values the anyone, anywhere, anytime attitude. But there is also business. There is also risk and reward. Topuria has a rising brand. He's exciting. He hits hard. He has that fearless look in his eyes. If he takes Islam and loses, the shine dulls. If he waits and picks another lane, the shine might grow. Still, fans don't like the smell of a delay. They respect bold. They love danger. That is why the call-out worked. It turned a maybe into a question everyone wants answered. Not next month. Now. When Islam names you, hiding is not an option.
Вот на твой взгляд, сейчас самый справедливый бой за чемпионство в легком весе между кем? Между Ильей Топурией и Арманом Царутяном?
Ну да, конечно. Если кто-то когда-то, не знаю, в истории страховал бой, делал вес, он всегда дрался почти. Ну, я не помню в истории, чтобы не давали бой. Арман сделал последний турнир вес, подстраховал бой. И я думаю, он должен быть следующий. Он доказал, что у него же была проблема с весогонкой. Он доказал, что может спускаться, гонять вес. И я думаю, что это самый актуальный бой на данный момент.
У кого было бы больше всего шансов на победу?
Ну, я думаю, если честно, если Арман выйдет с правильным настроем, то он справится.
Because the audience will follow you to every post and ask the same thing. Where is the fight? Meanwhile, the card in Paris gave us a stack of talking points. Nazarena Mavov handled business and then talked about a title shot. He shut down a long win streak and kept his own run going. He is clean with his hands, calm with his footwork, and settled in the pocket. Some fans said, he needs a finish to jump the line. Others said, wins are wins, and he's earned the shot. In a division where momentum matters, those debates make a difference. They shape who gets the call and who has to prove it one more time. Sean Strickland kept things spicy as always. He went at Caio Baralho for cutting weight twice and said it wrecked his camp. It's blunt, but he isn't wrong about how brutal a bad cut can be. You lose weeks of quality training, your body dips, your mind fogs. It's like trying to win a race with wet shoes and a flat tire. Coaches talk about it all the time. Don't peak early, don't starve late, don't try to be two things at once. Strickland's delivery is rough, but the point stuck. Fans nodded because they've watched too many fighters do too much and look like half of themselves on fight night. Benoit Saint-Denis lit up the crowd with a slick choke. He looked strong, smooth, and confident. He said he wants someone from the top 10 and maybe a spot on a huge card. That's the right call. When the door opens, you don't ask, you announce. His win had that feeling of momentum, the kind that floods your mentions with give him Gamrot, or give him Dariush, or how about Chandler at the Garden. That's how a star builds. One big finish, one big mic moment, and a list of names that make sense. Even with all of that, the weekend belonged to the two big threads, Herb's early stoppage and Islam's ducking claim. They took over the chatter because they touch nerves. One is about fairness. The other is about courage. Both matter to fans. People love this sport because fighters take risks that most of us never will. They stand in front of danger and try to meet it head on. If a ref snatches away a chance to fight back, it feels like someone is messing with the core promise of MMA. If a fighter dodges a hard matchup, it feels like someone is messing with the code.
5 rounds in the bag there. I mean, striking time, it doesn't feel there at the minute, to be honest. Last week, my striking time felt good, and I've done 5 rounds with Luke, so it's just probably woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. Obviously, I've got to get that striking time better if I'm fighting El Chirizo. That's a lot what I'm going to work on, but my grappling always feels phenomenal. I just see in them rounds, lad, when I get people on the floor, they don't get up, lad, they smother people. Like Kamzat against DDP the weekend, once I get you down and I'm on top of you and I'm smothering you, lad, you're not getting up, lad. I'm controlling you. I'm making you feel my weight and making you feel some shots at the same time. That's the thing, lad, when I get on top of someone, you know.
Let's be fair about the referee piece. Safety matters. We've seen endings that went too long. We've watched fighters eat shots they didn't need. Nobody wants that. but safety and courage have to share the same space. If a fighter is conscious, defending, and making moves to improve, you owe him the next beat, not forever, not 10 extra unanswered blows. Just the next beat. In the Islam Makhachev sequence, many fans believed that next beat was there. It was a small one, but it was real. That's why the call feels wrong. It denies the sport's math. Risk plus will equals a chance to turn it around. As for Topuria, the smart move now is simple. Say yes or say when. If the plan is to fight Islam, say it plain and calm, and make it clear you're not running from anybody. If the plan is different, give a reason that passes the smell test. Fans don't need a boardroom chart. They need something honest. I'm healing. I'm locked to a date. I'm taking the contender the UFC promised. Give the audience a path, and they will walk it with you. Stay quiet, and they'll write the path without you. There is also the business reality that sits under every headline. Fighters have windows. A big win today can turn into a huge payday with one good matchup and one good speech. Managers look for paths that grow leverage. Matchmakers look for pairings that sell. The goal is to line up that single fight where the risk is reasonable and the reward is massive. Sometimes that means delaying the most dangerous name in the room by a few months. Sometimes that means taking him right away and trusting your skills. What fans ask is simple. If you wear gold, you take all comers. If you say you are the best, you prove it against the hardest fight available. Back to the stoppage for a moment, because this part matters. Reputation is a tide. It rises or falls slow, then all at once.
What is going on with Patty?
With all the fans around the world, I think that they want to see that fight. And at the same time, I have to be honest, I think it's one of the easiest fights that I could have in the lightweight division. I don't know, I can do with him whatever I want to do in reality. It's very excited fight for the fans.
Yeah.
Where I'm gonna enjoy a lot the whole process, and at the same time, it's a fight where I'm gonna be able to shine.
When a ref's name makes people nervous before a fight even starts, that's bad for everyone. For the fighters, because they're wondering, will I get a fair shake? For the fans, because they're watching the ref instead of the action. For the sport, because outcomes should be decided by punches, kicks, takedowns, and grit, not by a hand waving too early or too late. The fix isn't simple, but it's clear. Review, train, hold people to a standard. Give younger refs reps on big stages when they earn them, and when a mistake happens, own it. Fighters have to answer for bad nights. Refs should too. The funny thing about weekends like this is that they don't die when Sunday hits. They echo. People talk about them at the gym, at work, and in their group chats. That echo keeps the pressure on. It pushes the UFC to book the fights the fans are demanding. It pushes fighters to clear the air and step forward. It pushes officials to look in the mirror and ask how to be better. As loud as the noise can be, that pressure often leads to the right next move. So here we are. One early stoppage that turned the crowd sour. One bold accusation that put a top name on the spot. Two stories that grabbed the sport by the collar and wouldn't let go. Was Herb Dean protecting a fighter from damage, or did he cut off a fair fight before it had a chance to breathe? Is Ilia Topuria choosing a smarter path, or is he really ducking Islam Makhachev? The only thing we know for sure is that both questions will follow everyone into the next card and the one after that. And in this game, that's why we watch. Not just for the perfect head kick or the slick choke, we watch for the tension, for the moments where you hold your breath and wait to see what happens next. We watch because the stories outside the cage can flip the stories inside the cage on their heads. One ref's decision can sour a night or save a career. One call-out can build a fight or break a myth. This weekend gave us both. Now we wait for the answers this time. Not from the judges, not from the ref, but from the fighters who step in and prove it.